Gil here. In this video I'm going to show you how to set up your brand new Criterion Golden Field tripod. So generally when you unpack these things, they're folded up like this. What you want to do is just pick it up and spread the legs out. Now when I put one down, pull the other two out and stand your tripod up. Try to make the legs relatively snug. Looks like this when you're done. That should be nice. And when you're outside, you'll be sticking these in the ground, so they're not going to go anywhere. Generally, when you're using a scope, you don't want to be tripping over a leg like this when you're observing. So what you'll do is you'll have one leg pointed towards the North Star, and have the wedge oriented in that direction. If you didn't do it that way, what would happen is when you're observing, you'd be on a telescope, it's dark out, you can't see, and you're tripping over this leg all the time when you're trying to get around the telescope here. So just try to have a leg pointed north. One little tip makes it easier. The height adjustment of the legs is fairly straightforward. Just loosen the screws, set the leg, snug them up. They don't have to be super tight. You want them tight, but you don't really need to crank on those. So just one leg at a time. I'm not being fussy with the height since we're indoors, so I won't be doing any observing. This would be really high up for use. In fact, I'm going to lower that just a bit. Once you have the legs at the right height, then you secure them with this little doohickey called a leg spreader. Interesting name. And there. Idea is for this to be level. Tripods generally have a level. Mine does not. Oh well, what can I tell you? But just use your bubble level to make sure that when you set the height of the legs and the spreader is secured, that the wedge plate is relatively level. Makes it easier to do the rest of the polar alignment. Then using a compass app, I will just set the orientation of the wedge to 180 degrees. And then secure it. Since I'm torquing it, it might move. We'll see. Oh. Cool. That was easy. So now we know we're pointed true north. And then finally, I will set the angle of the wedge, which in this case is a complement of my latitude of 42 degrees. There. Now that the wedge angle and orientation are set, you lock the wedge in place. The arms, the plastic hardware that they gave with the tripods, these knobs, they work, but you really have these screws in particular that we're going to attach next have to be really torqued. And these knobs have a tendency to break, especially in cold weather. So I bought some 1/4 by 1 inch socket head cap screws, stainless steel with a fender washer and a 5/32 T-wrench, and that's how I secure my arms on this particular tripod. Again, we've already set the wedge angle and orientation, so from here you're just tightening it up. And like any good assembler, you snug everything up before you really tighten it. Once it's set, you really crank these things. Tripod set. Mount the scope. And now to mount the scope, you can use a traditional tripod knob if you want. Put it in the first hole on the bottom of the scope. 4 or 5 turns. And then you can mount this like so. I like to hang on to the scope until that first knob is secured. You definitely want to use all 3 bolts before you have an observing session, because you know anything can happen and you don't want to lose the telescope because of hardware. And when you're done, you have a pretty comfortable observing position right here. You can rotate the star diagonal as you move the scope around the sky, depending upon where you're looking. Generally, if you look to the south, it's that way because you pointed north that way with wedge. And that is how you set up your Criterion Golden Field tripod. Good luck with your scope.